Okay, this is section 36 from Caesar's De Bello Gallico, book 5, and we have just been updated on what's happened to Cotta. He's been wounded. Um, some of the other soldiers are taking on wounds. It isn't looking good for the Romans. They're in this defensive orb. They're getting picked off sort of one by one, and so they are in absolute dire straits after falling victim to this ambush orchestrated by Ambiorix. And of course, the prime instigator and the main person culpable for falling victim is Quintus Titurius Sabinus, at least according to Caesar, who's narrating this. And so this section is all about Quintus Titurius Sabinus. So Quintus Titurius Sabinus, influenced, moved, maybe alarmed by this situation, by these situations, when he had caught sight of Ambiorix from afar, at a distance, Procul, encouraging his men, right? So suos has to do with Ambiorix's own soldiers. So when at a distance he had seen or caught sight of Ambiorix encouraging his men, he sends. So remember, he is Sabinus. Sabinus sends his mediator, his interpreter, his mediator, Gnaeus Pompeius, not Pompey the Great. This is a different Gnaeus Pompeius, to him, to Ambiorix. And then rogatum here is the supine, for the purpose of asking, right? So he sends him to Ambiorix to ask that Ambiorix spare him, Sabinus, and his soldiers. So a lot of pronouns there. Hopefully we've kept track of all those. Here's another one. So that man, and so now we're talking about the guy over there, so that's Ambiorix, having been called, responded. And we have a number of infinitives here in indirect statement. If he should wish to speak with him, it is permitted. So this is likera. This is the infinitive because it is after the head verb responded. So he responded that it is permitted. He responded that he hopes that, now we're going to assume that this conversation is able to be permitted, is able to be essentially gained or obtained, accomplished by the multitude. So remember, Caesar makes this point, or he puts the words in Ambiorix's mouth, that the leaders cannot make the Gauls do anything. The Gauls have just as much power over the Gallic leaders as the Gallic leaders have over the Gauls. So we're getting back to this point here. So Ambiorix responded, that he hoped that this was able to be obtained from the Gauls, from the crowd, from the multitude. Which, so this quod clause here describes this thing which would pertain to the safety of the soldiers. We have another infinitive here, nocitum iri, the future passive infinitive, which is very rare, and we have to play with the meaning here. And he responded that that essentially nothing would be harmed, truly nothing would be harmed to the man himself. So to Titurius Sabinus, no harm would be done, truly, indeed. And in this situation, as regards to this situation, he responded that he, in interponere with fidem here, now suam fidem means to basically to give a pledge, right? So to give one's word. And as regards to this situation, he responded that he gave his pledge, his word. That man, now here, this time, Ile refers to Sabinus, right? Because we've just been talking about Ambiorix and what he said. So the other guy, that guy, Sabinus, communicates with Kata, wounded. Remember, Kata's taken a couple of weapons here. He took a sling bullet to the face. So he communicates with Kata, wounded, if it should seem appropriate, and this is a colloquial use of the passive, if or maybe whether it seemed appropriate that they should depart from the battle and they should converse, they should talk together as one with Ambiorix. And then communicat here is your head verb, and he communicates that he hopes. Now we're going to use the same exact verbiage here that we did above, that it is able to be accomplished from him, from Ambiorix, concerning his own safety and the safety of their soldiers. Kata, and I'm hoping that you know exactly what his answer is going to be, he verbs himself to the armed enemy, and then will go, and then negat. So he refuses that he will go to an armed enemy. So he says that he will not go to an armed enemy, and he perseveres. He is persistent in this point.